You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do me a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. They were 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, ding, ding. Saved by the bell. And he goes to his corner. The whole world is like, yep, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's going to just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me. Many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. The world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me, it's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out simply because his why was greater than that punch. His why was greater than defeat. His why was greater than his trial and his tribulation. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what your why is and your why isn't strong, you're going to get knocked out every single day. No matter what you might be going through, don't quit. The secret is in not giving up. Everybody who's done something great, they weren't that deep. What they had was resiliency. They had the ability to bounce back. All the greats, they didn't quit. No matter how impossible your situation may seem, stay on course. I guarantee you cannot pass it if you quit. I guarantee you don't know what's going to happen if you keep going.
I'm fragile. I feel pain. I open my eyes. I crave victory. I do not give up. I feel no fear. I fear. I create. I hold the power.
Good evening, everyone. Please mute your lines.
Make a choice. Just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way.
We can't have another bad year. You've got to get to the point where enough is enough.
It's much easier to come up with excuses and why you can't do it. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is easy, complain about your situation, your circumstances, you surrender and give up on your dreams, become depressed and bitter and angry. Anybody can do that. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, keep coming back again and again and again. Get up dressed every day. Take life on. Taking life by the collar. You say, yes, I will do it. I can do this. And you've said to yourself, I'm willing to face the no's. I'm willing to people laughing. I'm willing to gut it out. I'm willing to make this happen. It's my time. It's possible. It's necessary. It's hard. It's worth it. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can do it. If anybody's ever done it at any point in time in history, then what's possible for one, it's possible for me, and I'm going to do it. And if you do that over and over and over again, your life will be easy.
You can tell the level of faith a person has by the size of their dreams. True believers dream bigger and aim higher, for they know the size of the God they serve. And if you want to accomplish amazing things and experience all that life has to offer, you must set enormous, almost to the edge of insanity, goals for yourself. The age of being practical is over. Dreaming with boldness takes the limits off of God. It allows him to work the miracles that he is so willing to do. Don't set your goals in relation to your own abilities. Set your goals in accordance with the God you serve. And let me tell you this, all things are possible with God. So if you align with him, if you align with his principles, you are blessed and unstoppable. Let's go to the word. Now to him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Now notice that last statement. According to the power that worketh in us. That means everything you need to accomplish your dream is already inside you. Wake up! That's the secret. It's already in you. When you gain revelation to that power that's in you, there's not a wall, there's not an obstacle, there's not a mountain that can stand in your way. Because all things are possible to him that believeth. And when you believe that kind of way, and you serve that kind of God, you are blessed and unstoppable. You have been granted through grace the power and authority to accomplish your divine assignment. He has placed seeds of greatness inside of you, and with that anointing, all things are possible. God does not want his ambassadors walking around on earth sick, broke, and defeated. There's no glory for him in that. He made you to prosper in every area so that you can give a shining testimony to the world of his greatness. Every victory, blessing, and success you experience is designed in some way to put you in position to minister to the lost. He has empowered you to succeed so that you can have greater access to bigger and bigger platforms to pronounce his glory. You are a soldier in the mighty army of God, and no great general would send his soldiers out into battle empty-handed. He has fully equipped you to be victorious. Your weapons are faith, mind, and the spoken word. These are the three most powerful weapons in existence, and nothing can stand in the way of them. These are the same weapons Jesus performed all his miracles with, and you have complete access to them. John 14:12 says, "Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father." Now, if the word of God promises you something, then you can rest assured in full faith that you have it. The power's in you. Go now and change the world with it.
Somebody told you that hard work don't pay off. I'm here to tell you, if you work for it, if you're willing to put in that sweat, that blood, and those tears, baby, I'm telling you, you can have what you want, be what you want, do what you want. Are you hearing me? Keep going till you see it. Don't quit. Don't give up. Listen to me. Don't give up. Don't give in. You hang in there. You hang in there, because if you quit right now, you ain't gonna never see it. But if you hold on, everything you dreamed of, everything you envisioned, everything you worked for, it's coming. But you can't quit or give up before you get it. If you work hard, you can't have it. It ain't nothing you can't have. You deserve it. It ain't nothing you can't have if you're willing to work for it. It ain't nothing you can't have if you're willing to persevere, if you're willing to stick in there, if you're willing to stay, if you're willing to fight. It ain't nothing you can't have. Are you hearing what your boy is telling you? It's yours. It's yours. I'm coming. I'm telling you, it's yours. You can have it. It's yours. You can do it. It's yours. You can be it. It's yours. If E.T. can do it, listen to me, anybody can do it. High school dropout, homeless, lived in abandoned buildings, 12 years to get a 4-year degree. If you want it as bad as you want to breathe, if you really, really want it like you say you want it, you can have it. This ain't for the weak and the uncommitted. Are you hearing me? Success is not for the weak and the uncommitted. This is physical. Sometimes it's going to hurt. Sometimes it's going to be painful. It's hard. Yep, it's hard. Yep, it's difficult. Yep, why? Because the process is weed out the weak. It's weeding out the weak. And so sometimes you got to play hard. You got to play physical. You got to play tough. Execution is worship. You got to get to a place that when you start it, you get through the middle of it, the doldrum, and you finish it. Are you hearing me? And not just finish, you finish strong. Listen to me very closely. Most of you, the reason why you'll never be successful is because you procrastinate. You procrastinate. You never finish stuff.
Don't get caught up in, well, I've tried it 4 or 5 times and things didn't work out. If there's something that you want and you're hungry for it, you've got to do whatever is necessary until. And when you give the best you can and that's not enough, you must do what is required. And don't give up on yourself. Don't throw the towel in so quickly.
The secret to success is finishing. Execution is worship. Are you hearing me? Oh, you better hear what I'm telling you, baby. Listen to me very closely. Execution is worship.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, sugar. Welcome to the call. This is Wednesday's Harmonic Scanner 52 Weeks to Freedom call. Class number 3. I welcome everyone to the call. Please mute your lines as you come on so that we don't have any unnecessary distractions. Nothing gets in the way. So please, everybody, do mute your lines before we get started. All right. JTL, I still see your mic open. Please mute your line just so that we make sure that we don't have any distractions. Thanks, guys. All right. So first things first, let's get the disclaimers out the way. Obviously, we're not going to read through this, guys, but it is protocol that we share it so that I know that trading is risky and that I'm not here to tell you how to invest your money. I'm just here to educate you on the information that we're learning through IML and the IML Academy. All right, so let's just get that right out of the way. Okay, now I want to talk about first things first. Last week, Anna did an amazing job of introducing us all to the Currency Strength Heatwave app and the Currency Strength colors and the 8 major pairs that we have in Forex. Now, she gave us an introduction. She gave us tips on how to record the currency strength as it applies to each cycle. Now, what I want to do is I want to review quickly what I like to call the currency strength tug of war. And I came up with a visual because I am a visual learner. And I wanted to share it with you all. So the way that I see currency strength is this. If the base is strong and the quote is weak, then prices rise and we buy. If the base is weak and the quote is strong, prices will fall and we sell. And if the currency strengths are equal or similar in strength, then it's consolidation. And that's what Anna talked about last week during class. I wanted to give you this visual so that you'll be able to see it, because as I go on through tonight's class and add on more information, all of this is going to start to make sense. All right. So first thing that we need to go on and talk about is the various currency pairs. There are 8 major currency pairs. And as you see, I have color coordinated them similar to the currency colors on the Currency Heatwave app. And those 8 pairs are AUD, CAD, the Swiss franc, Euro, the Great Britain pound, the Japanese yen, everybody please mute your lines, the New Zealand dollar, and the United States dollar. It's very important that you screenshot this particular screen because I want you to know that there is a total of 28 different pairs that we have the potential to trade. And the way that you're going to read this diagram is that when you're reading it from left to right. So the pairs on the left-hand side here are going to be your base pairs, the first pair. And then when you're looking at your quote, you're looking at your second pair, which is across the top. Excuse me, please mute your line. CC, I need you to mute your line, baby. Thank you, sugar. All right, so now there are a couple of things that I want you to pay attention to that is very important when looking at this chart. There's going to be 4 primary rules that you need to be aware of.
Wow.
Somebody reach out to Cece and let her know that her mic is unmuted.
Listen this. Close at 9 and 10.
All right, first things first is the euro. If you notice, euro right here, EUR, is going to always be your base pair. It is never a quote. And you need to make a note of that.
What? I can't make a note. Okay.
All right, EUR is always a base pair. It is never the quote.
Damn, she left. Damn.
All right. The other thing that you need to make a note of is JPY is always a base pair, quote pair. JPY is always a quote. It is never the base. Second notation. JPY is always the quote. It is never the base pair. Third note. GBP is always the base pair. Hold on, let me see. Thanks. All right, guys. Now, I'm going to say that again. EUR is always the base, never the quote. JPY is always the quote, never the base. GBP is always the base except when it's paired with EUR GBP, which is the reason why I made it orange. The other note that I want you to make a note of is the Swiss franc is always the quote except for when it is paired with JPY, which is the reason why it's blue, because then that is the only time it becomes the base. Does everyone understand that? Did everyone get those 4 rules?
Can you repeat the last 2?
Hey, Ms. Lopez, I didn't get the GBP base. It's a base except if it's paired with what?
Okay, I'm going to go through them one more time, and then I'm going to make sure everybody got them. Number 1, the euro, EUR, is always the base. It is never the quote. It's always going to be in the first position. You will never see it in the second position. So for example, you'll find EUR odd, but you'll never find odd EUR. Does everyone understand that?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
All right. JPY is always the quote. It's never the base. So you'll never see JPY NZD. You'll always see NZD JPY. Number 3, GBP is always the base except for when it's paired with EUR. And the Swiss franc, CHF, is always the quote except for when paired with JPY. Does everybody got that?
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am.
All right, now I created this job aid so that all you have to do is put in what the pair is, look at your currency strength heat wave app, figure out what the strengths of those two pairs are, and then you should be able to determine which direction it goes in. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so what I want to do is I want to just take a look at it and just show you how the power of knowing that is. If you can remember what those currency strength, if you can remember what the currency colors are, you can remember what the pairs are, and you can apply them to the currency strength heat wave app like Anna suggested last week, then we can also add on to it the appropriate sessions and what sessions the pairs are going to be most popularly added or operating in, because it's going to be based on the bank hours of those 8 pairs. All right, so next I want to actually go ahead and take a look at trading view, and I just want to take a look at some of the currency heat waves, right? So somebody, let's just take a look at it. If we're looking at the currency heat wave app, right? And right now, if we were to pull it up, can anybody tell me what is the strongest and the weakest pair?
The Swiss, the Swiss franc and also the New Zealand dollar is the weakest, and then the U.S. dollar and the Australian dollar is the strongest. Oh, excuse me, the CAD. My apologies.
Okay, so what's the New Zealand?
New Zealand is 1.43.
Okay, and what is the U.S. dollar?
6.71.
All right. So if the quote is the strongest pair, then it should sell, correct?
Yes.
which is what it's currently doing now?
Yep.
All right, give me another one. You said it was CAD in New Zealand? Now look, it didn't come up. You notice that? Because I put it in backwards. You see that? You have to put it in correctly. That too is selling, correct? All right, now.
We're going to pull back.
Exactly. So based on what Anna taught y'all last week, and if you know what the currency pairs are and how to appropriately place them and actually look at them, and then knowing what the strengths are, you know basically what direction the market should be going in at the time that you're looking at it if you start tracking it. Now, when we go back to the PowerPoint and we point out the appropriate trading session, if you notice the 4 sessions, the pairs are broken up based on the sessions as well. And the reason that is because the New Zealand banks is the first banks that open up on Sunday, because that is actually Monday morning for them. So the first currency to start actually trading or moving in the market is New Zealand. And then later on, AUD will open. And then a few hours later, the Asian session will start, and then the Japanese yen will start being traded. Then the London session. And then you'll start to see the euro, the franc, the Great Britain pound. And then the New York session with the CAD and the United States dollar. So as we start practicing in our study groups and we start noticing the different trading sessions, we'll notice even with the different apps that we have, like with the harmonic scanner, the calls that will be more active and popular will be based on the session that they come out in. And it's because that's the time that the banks that are using those currencies are actually open and are during their normal banking hours. One of the things that we also want to keep in mind is when those sessions go into actually lunch break. And that's something that we're going to have to research as a team so that we can make note of it, so that we can see or plan accordingly when the market is going to slow down. So now, does anybody have any questions about the sessions or about the pairs, or do you want to go back and take a look at some different pairs and kind of get a feel for how the currency works in relationship to knowing how to actually use the pairs in relationship to trading sessions? We can look at some pairs on the scanner as well.
I have a request.
Okay, sure. What is it?
I'm not sure if it would fit into this session. Maybe it would have to be in another session. But I would love for someone to go down and break down the MetaTrader 4, as well as reading the decimals to know what you get and what you're not getting, as far as like how many pips is this and that and that.
Oh, that's actually Academy stuff. So have you even gone through and actually watched your Basics Academy?
Yeah, but I'm talking about as far as we go into MetaTrader 4 and we trying to calculate. I mean, I got the reading the pips with your thing and everything, reading with the, but as far as like, if I'm going, like for instance, when I did a spread, I understand it. I kind of understand the spread, but I don't understand how you go from what the difference between the, I mean, I understand the 15 spread compared to a 50 spread. You know, the what does that mean?
Oh,
I
okay,
know, you know,
so
that kind of thing. And also when they break it down, like if I'm looking at the pair and I'm looking at a trade or a sell, I'm on the screen where they say buy or sell. And then, you know, as the numbers, you know, showing me what, and then I make that bid. And then, you know, when I get done, and then I got whatever I got, like if it's 0.02 compared to 1.02, like what am I looking at? I mean, I understand the premises as far as when in the video, when it gets on the MetaTrader 4, I'm trying to understand because it's not equating to me right, if that makes any sense.
okay, so first of all, if you're looking at the spread and you're looking at your pip count, you have to add what the spread is to your pip count in order to make sure that you're going to actually catch your pip count. So, for example, the spread is how much you're paying the broker to place the transaction for you. That's the reason why you go into the red almost immediately, because you have to have enough pips to cover their spread or their fee before you can actually profit from the transaction. Does that make sense?
So it's not from where you take the bid at, but you also got to equate where you took the bid at, plus also add in the spread from the brokers. So are you adding that as and as like 0.0, or are you adding it as are you adding it that? So in
Whatever their
other
spread is.
words, if it's like so that spread is pretty much number of pips, pretty much.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Based on however
Gotcha.
much you're leveraging or risking, or you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Gotcha.
So now, if you notice on your MetaTrader, there's two lines there. There's the ask and the bid. And that's basically what that is. One is where you are saying that you want to get in, and the other is basically taking in consideration the spread.
So the ask is what the actual price is going for, and the bid is what you're getting into along with the spread added in.
I don't know if that's how you explain it, but
I mean,
I don't know
so in
how
other words,
explains it, but yeah. Huh?
Okay, so the bid is the asking price plus also what the spread is also adding in.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay.
So all you got to do is just make sure that you calculating how much you actually want. That's the reason why, if you remember with the trading plan, remember we said we want you to secure 15 pips. But remember, we told you to look for a signal that's going to give you at least 20. Because then that way that extra 5 or that extra 10 is going to cover the spread. So you always got to calculate that in. Because they're going to take their piece of the pie first. That's coming off the top.
Right. Okay. That explains a lot, because I had some bids and I was like, okay, hold up. That don't equate right, because that's not what I calculated and it came off. So why is it so low? And I wasn't understanding that.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's because they taking their piece of the pie.
Now I've been looking through and I've gone through the academy, and maybe I missed that video, but I don't remember seeing a video where they kind of broke down the MetaTrader 4 and everything in it, and what's this, what's this. I've seen it for the harmonic scanner, right, but not for MetaTrader 4.
So what I would suggest that you do is reach out to your study group and just let them know that you still have some questions and concerns about that. And I'm pretty sure that there's some leaders in that group that have mastered utilizing that tool. And then that way they can show you exactly what you need to know in order to make sure that you understand it.
Got it. Actually, hold up. I thought I was in my study group.
Yeah, this is the Wednesday class. So we go over all of the information for the 52 weeks. So we introduce you to new concepts each Wednesday, so that way when you go into your study groups, which group are you in? the South, the Midwest, what, Northeast?
Sorry, I'm having problems with my microphone. Midwest.
Okay, so yeah. Oh, so you in my group. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, that's why I thought I was in the Midwest, but I was like, oh, hold on, this is not Midwest. This is Harmonic. Oh, okay, because I saw your face, and I was like, oh, let me get my group. It's like three different. It's like 3 different trainings going on, so I'm hopping from. I went from one trainer. I was like, no, that's not the right. And I was like, I'm trying to. Which one do I choose? Because there's so many trainings going on. I'm like, I don't know where to go. But
no worries. All right, so what y'all think? Y'all want to go back over currency as far as the pairs are concerned? Because really, guys, all it is memorizing the 28 currency pairs. And if you notice, the 5 groups that we already have, there's 4 pairs for each group. So there's 20 pairs that's already distributed between the 5 different groups. And we still have room to grow or add more pairs to the different groups, or even add another group if we want to look at those additional pairs. Let's see. Let's take a look at the scanner and see what's going on as far as what's available on there. What signals do we see? If we can see any setups using the sauce. Let's see. Okay.
Could you briefly explain swap?
The swap? Oh, okay. So during, I think it's like right around 4 o'clock, I would say probably about 4:30 Eastern Standard Time during the week, the spreads will change. And they increase and they add a swap fee. I don't really know what the concept of the swap fee is, to be perfectly honest with you. I just know it's something that we picked up on and noticed that, you know what I'm saying, it happens. And it usually happens all the way until like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening, and then the spreads start to shrink back down. But if there's another leader on the call that knows the answer to the swap question, please be my guest and answer it. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know why they do it. I just know that it happens and that you should be aware of it, because if you enter into a trade during that time, then it's going to cost you more. And if you're in a trade during that time, you need to be aware of it, because when the spreads increase like that, it could potentially kick you out.
All right, thank you.
But
that was an awesome question. That explained a lot
that's
for
an
me as
assignment. We can always take a look at it as a team. That's something I don't know the answer to. If you guys find it out, please share it with the group so that we can all learn from each other. Because like I said, this isn't a lecture, guys. This is a conversation. So I'm here, learning from you as much as you are learning from me.
So with the swap, from what I was told, was basically like during the day, like if you just trading during the day, I'm not sure, but if you hold it overnight, you get charged a little bit extra. They basically charge you like an overnight fee.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's it. If that's, I don't know why you do it in the middle of the day. Well, I guess maybe because we're looking at it from our time and not there. You know what I'm saying? What's happening overseas?
Cause like I got UJ right now. I think I've been holding it since yesterday, and they're charging me 37 cents for the swap, and then another 5 cents for something else.
Yeah. Yep, I've noticed it a lot. Like I've even had where when the spread changes like that, it'll wick me out and it'll hit my stop loss because the spread is too big and my account can't hold it. So be careful with that.
So what I pulled up is saying here a Forex swap is the interest rate differential between 2 currencies of the pair you are trading, and is calculated according to whether your position is long or short.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
Go ahead.
So it says here, swap or rollover fee is charged when you keep a position open overnight.
Okay. All right. So there you go. We all learned something new. I didn't know why they was doing that. I just knew it happened, and I know I've gotten kicked out for it. All right. Great questions, guys. What else? I'm gonna start looking for setups. See if we see anything.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It's not dealing with this, but I want to ask you, when you go looking for a broker, what brokers have you seen are best to choose from? I've looked at Iona as well as Forex.com and also Hugo Way. I know a lot of people got Hugo Way, but I also know Hugo Way, they kind of they could, you know, charge a lot on
Yeah,
some
they spreads
spreads.
are higher. So I have Hugo's Way because it allows you to trade US 30 and it allows you to trade crypto. I also have Trader's Way, which is what I predominantly use when I'm trading Forex. I've had JAFX before, but then there were some issues that they were having where they weren't allowing people to deposit money into their accounts from the United States for a while. So then I stopped using them. I don't really have a preference. I guess it's a personal choice, but you do need to keep in mind what their spreads are. The one thing that I've noticed about Hugo's Way, when I look at their charts, I noticed that they do a lot of wicks. It like wicks and moves a lot. I don't know what that's all about, but I don't really like the way that works or looks to me when I'm looking at it, trading it on a smaller time frame. But that's just a personal preference.
So is Hugo Way the only one that does US 30? Because I actually like US 30.
I don't know. I don't know. Is there anybody else that has any other brokers that they use besides the ones that we mentioned? Or is there another broker that does US 30?
There are other brokers that use US 30. I have CoinEx and it does it. The only thing with it is that you can't trade on that particular broker at a micro lot. You have to do a standard automatically. So you need to have about 500 in your account in order to trade US 30 on that.
Okay, US 30 is the only one that Hugo's Way is the only broker I think that allows you to trade US 30 with smaller lot sizes, which is why a lot of people use it.
Yep.
But some people don't really like it because it tends to glitch during NFP. A lot of people have been having problems with that recently. I know JFX doesn't accept US customers anymore, so that one's not really even on the table for people in the US anymore. But I think a lot of people that I know typically use Hugo's Way and Trader's Way are like their two recommended brokers. So at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to personal preference and how much you're willing to pay for spreads and which one will allow you to place a trade that you want to place the way you want to place it.
So in other words, it's good to probably have two different brokers.
Yeah, there are a lot of team members that do have multiple brokers and they use different brokers for different things, or they have multiple accounts and they have them set up for different purposes. Yep.
Yeah. I heard that Trader's Way allows you to trade crypto too, as well as Hugo's Way. So, I mean, people use different brokers to trade different things.
So Trader's Way don't allow for US 30?
Nope. And it don't allow crypto either.
Darn. Okay.
Okay,
it's basically all for it. Go ahead.
I have Hugo's Way, and I want to open a Trader View as well. But I have to have a separate MetaTrader 4 account for both brokers.
Yes. And you'll set it up through the broker.
Okay, thank you.
And then you'll be able to link them both to your phone or to your computer.
So would I already have the MetaTrader 4 app. Would I have to how would that work? You just have two different accounts on one account, one MetaTrader 4?
Nope, same MetaTrader 4. You'll have multiple accounts that you'll log into. All right, anything else? Anything else? While we looking for setups?
US CAD. Can we look at US CAD?
Yeah, let's see if it's on here. Matter of fact, let's just search it. So, okay, so you see it's on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. But this is an old signal, you see that? So if I was looking at this just as a setup, right? The signal was called for an entry down here for a buy. The cross happened here. If you had an alert, it would have been it would have signaled off right there. I would have came in here and I would have started lining this thing up. I would have waited for this candle to close. Once this candle closed and this candle opened, I would be looking for whether or not this was the setup. Now, if you take this 50 out of here, it looks like this is a buy all day long, correct? Does everybody see that?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
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 Right? Okay, now, when you put the 50 back on here, you would have seen this 50 right here forming at the same time this candle was forming. And we already know that that 50 is an indication of a level of strong support or resistance. So I would have, as a beginning trader, would have waited to see if this candle actually broke out of the 50 before I got into the trade. Because then I knew there was enough momentum to keep the buy happening, as opposed to it actually ricocheting off of the 50 and pushing downward. Does everyone understand that?
Got it.
Yes.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
So that's the importance of the 50 when it's running close to the candles like that, because it's giving you an indication of there was a strong level of support and resistance. And as I already told you, your take profits, your entry, and your stop loss, the scanner has already told you that those are levels of support and resistance. And if you notice, that 50 is running across that take profit line for quite some time. Do you see that?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So that's the way US CAD is right now. What I would be looking for on US CAD is for this buy to finish and for the sell to set up. If I was going to be trading on the US CAD on this hour chart, I will be waiting for that sale to set up so that then the red is on top. The RSI is out of the street on the bottom past the 45. And then the red is on top on your MACD. And let's just put that horizontal line across your 0. So that you can keep that in mind as well. That's what I will be looking for. You're going to notice that this 50 is going to be in relationship to the 0 line on your MACD. So you'll notice when it crosses up here for the sell, you'll have a few pips, a smaller pip move before it gets to the 50. And then you'll look for it to see if it will actually bounce off of the 50 and continue to the upside, or if the momentum will push it through the 50 and continue to the downside. Does everyone understand that?
Yeah. So
Yes.
let me ask you a question. So when will you get into the trade then?
I will wait for the next cross.
Can we take a look at
Gotcha.
AUD CAD?
Sure, let's see if it's on here. All right, so it's showing up on multiple brokers, mostly on the 15-minute, but it's on the 15-minute and the hour. Like I said, I use Trader's Way, so I start with them. So this is the 15-minute. It's calling for a sale. If you notice, it's right here at the 50. So I'm looking for it to break the 50 to continue to the downside. If it don't break this 50, it's going to continue to the upside. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you start putting your lines on here and marking it up so that you can see things clearly when you come back to it, the sell cross started really right in here. You would have started getting an alert. So I mark it up on the 15-minute. It's calling for a sale. It's already selling, but it's giving some resistance right here on that 50. And it said it was calling it on the 1 hour too, didn't it? Okay. There she is. Let's see. So if you start looking at this on the hour, originally the hour was called for a buy, which already happened. Do y'all see that? The buy already happened. This buy happened. So what you're seeing on the 15-minute, because what did the 15-minute say? The 15-minute called for a sale, didn't it?
Sure
Yep.
did.
Yep.
Sure did.
So then what's happening is the 15-minute is happening. Look, the 15-minute is happening before the hour, correct?
Correct.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now, if you notice on the hour, it's starting to set up for the sale. But if you notice that 50 is right there. So it's going to keep pushing on this until it breaks that 50 to continue down. That take profit 3 is at 0.92305. Somebody remember that number, 0.92305. Let's go back to the 15-minute and see where that's at. What was that number?
92305.
That's right there. So if you notice, that previous level is almost identical to the first take profit on the 15-minute. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So really what we're waiting for on this particular pair is for this 15-minute to break the 50 for us to get in to continue to the downside. And as the 15-minute continues to drop, somebody take this number, 0.92033. What was that number?
92033.
92033.
92033. 92033?
Yes.
Yep.
That's right there. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
So now you see the power of going back and forth between the 15-minute and the hour. And then if you get the signal on the 4 hour, the 1 hour is going to set up before the 4 hour. So you're looking for multiple confirmations on multiple time frames. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
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 So do you
Yes.
enter on the 15 or do you enter on the 1 hour?
You can enter on either. However, it depends on what the scanner is calling for. If it gives you a call on the 15-minute and the 1 hour, you want them to line up. You don't want to get in on the 15-minute if it's calling for a sell and 1 hour is calling for a buy. They're doing the opposite, because then that means it's just a pullback to the 1 hour's move. You're going to want to wait for them to align for you to actually get in to ride the actual pull. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yes.
So wait for both of them to say sell, sell, or buy, buy.
Right. Now, as you become a more advanced trader, then you'll learn how to catch the pullbacks. And it won't matter if they're moving in opposite directions, because you'll be catching the pips on the sell for the pullback or the buy for the pullback. And then you'll also be setting up for the larger move. Does that make sense?
What is that called?
Yes.
Like
That's scalping.
So it's actually being able to, you can do it scalping if you do it on the smaller time frames, but you can do it as swing trading too on the larger time frames. It's just getting multiple entries on the same trade. So for this one, we see that this is starting to cross here. So then I will come in here and I will line this up, because I'm looking for this to finish so that I can see what the next candle is going to be, so that I can make sure that the red is going to come out on top. And then the RSI comes out of the street, and the MACD, the red, comes out on top and lines up.
So let me ask a question then.
Go
So
ahead.
aren't we still using the indicator as with the 50 being above the candles or below the candles? If it's above the candles, then it's pushing the candles down, asking for a sale. And if it's above the candles, it's pushing the candles up, so it's asking for a buy.
That you want to keep that into consideration, because look at it. Think about it like this. Notice once the candles broke it, then it pushed the candles up. But if you start going backwards, as long as the candles were below it, it pushed it down. So what I'm saying is the 50 is important, because when it comes together with the candles are going to fight with it. It's like that tug of war. They trying to either go through it, or the 50 is going to be too strong and it's going to reverse off of it. That's why they call it a level of support and resistance, or strong support. It's the bank's reversal zone. Because if the momentum or the volume in the candles doesn't have enough strength to push through it, it's not going to push through it and continue a downtrend. It's going to ricochet off forward, which is the reason why. If you notice, you'll put in a trade. Let's say, for example, let's just hide it. If I was to hide this, right, you would think that it's a potential that this could continue to go up. Well, let's find even a better example than that. Let's see. Take a while. Let me see if I can find a better example. Let's see.
Don't be shy, because if you're shy, I'm always gonna. I'm looking at the camera, and if you start, ducking off, I'm looking at the camera saying, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna pick this person. I'm gonna go with."
All right. So look how the 50 pushes the candles down. As soon as they got up to this level, which is your first take profit, if you notice, the 50 was there and it pushed the candles down. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see if I can find another. Okay, so look right here.
Because now it's like you're putting all your eggs in one basket. So I want you to have a notepad for your documentation.
If you notice, it was selling right here. It sold, it sold, it sold. Then they crossed and it started to grow and buy. And then it consolidated. And then it broke out and continued to buy. And then it pulled back a little bit more, and then it continued to buy, right? When you put the 50 on there, look what happened. It broke the 50, and it continued to sell. And then it hit, I'm assuming, because look at all of this activity right here. It was a level of support. And so then it reversed and it started to pull back up towards the 50. Then look, as soon as it got closer, it started to consolidate. And if you notice, the other indicators are showing you the same thing. As it started to consolidate, it went in. The MACD started growing together. And then it broke out of the 50 and it started for the candles to push up. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason why I keep the 50 in mind is because when this cross happened, yes, this is a sell. So I got the potential to catch this move down here, which was how many pips? That was 33 pips, right? In 4 hours and 45 minutes. If you went to the cross, it would be 25 pips, right?
Yeah.
Now look, once it crossed, you could have got back in on the buy, right? But what you would have wanted to keep in mind is you could only ride this buy until right here when it started to consolidate and get close by this 50, because you don't know if it's going to actually push through the 50 or if it's going to actually have the 50 push the market back down.
Gotcha.
So as a beginner, you want to look for where that 50 interacts with the candles at, because you're usually going to have a breakout and then it's going to push the momentum in whatever direction the market is going in. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we got 1 minute. Orange coming on next. Don't want y'all to miss it. Glad everybody was able to join the call. Hope you got some value from the call. Hope to see you guys next Wednesday. And have a wonderful evening.
Hey, can you send the Orion link into the group?
Thank you.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Grand
Thank
blessings.
you.
Good night. Thank you.
Y'all rock.